Today I'm wading a tiny creek deep in the woods. I'm catching creek chub and green sunfish with ultralight lures. I'm using Mule Fishing jig heads and soft plastics for the first time, and they turned out to be surprisingly effective in this little stream. I've also got some cool footage of the fish in a tank I brought along, plus underwater shots of them in their natural habitat. But before any of that, I've got to hike in on a forest trail, drop into the creek, and start fishing.
The creek is up just a little bit. It's a little cloudy. Might help us, might hurt us. This is the first spot where we should get some bites. Getting a bite on every cast, not hooking up yet. Might be going after the tail of this donkey tail junior. All right, there's our first hooked fish. Ouch, it's a creek chub. These guys are really tough to hold, very slippery. But that's our first fish. It's the creek chub, and it comes on the donkey tail junior. There he is. So in terms of this kind of cloudy water due to recent rain, I said it could help us or hurt us, and what I mean by that is when you've got cloudy water like this, of course it makes it harder for the fish to see your lure, but it also makes it harder for them to see you. Alrighty, let's move on. And in a creek that's super skinny like this, I mean, this creek is at maximum like 20 feet wide. In many spots, ankle deep, but in some spots up to 3 or 4 feet deep. But what I'm already finding is that this 164 ounce jig head obviously is going to sink very slowly or minimally, and the buoyant plastic that these lures are made with, it's going to help with that as well. So in short, you can fish really skinny water, which is nice. A couple of bites. The donkey tail junior, obviously it's a small lure, but we might need to even go smaller in here. And I do have the horsefly with me, which is smaller. Lots of bites. Not hooking up here. There we go. Another creek chub, little guy. There he is. Back you go. So obviously, caught a couple creek chub. I've known that they're in here. And I know we have sunfish, true sunfish in here as well, in the form of bluegill, pumpkin seed, and green sunfish. But I don't know whether we might find any smallmouth or anything else, like some red ear. Just don't know. We're gonna find out. Oh, saw a fish come up and get that. Looked like a decent size. Probably a green sunfish. Yeah, there it is. Another creek chub. Nice size one. There it is. Nice fighting fish for their size. Oh, I see I got bit right away there again. See that? What would you do? Would you trim this? It's still going to have great action even without that paddle tail on it. Here's another one. Alright, buddy. Another creek chub. I'm telling you, man, if creek chub were as pretty as brook trout, people would chase them. Now, of course, brook trout hang out in beautiful mountain streams, and creek chub will live in a literal toilet. That might be part of the allure of brook trout. Anyways, I'm out here just politicking on behalf of creek chub. Let's try the horsefly. Here's the horsefly. 1.3 inches instead of 1.6. Kind of like a little bug creature profile. This is red, aka red dirt. Sticking with the 164 ounce Mule Jig. Great action on that little tail. Well, it's not way shorter, but it's 3/10 of an inch shorter, and you know, has a little more bulk up towards the jig head. So maybe with the small mouthed little critters we're hooking today, creek chub, this might give us a little bit better hookup ratio. Let's try. First one on the horsefly. Take a wild guess, it's another creek chub. Hard to do a graceful release on those guys. They are slimy. Well, I've got 5 fish, all creek chub. I'm not complaining, but I'm here for multi-species. And we continue to hit the creek chub hard. This video is called Creek Chub-a-Palooza. Creek chub bleed pretty easily from the mouth. He'll be fine. But they're going for this horsefly. Let's move on. More creek to explore. It's crazy too. Rainstorm came through and totally changed. I mean, you see this if you fish in creeks, but just totally changed the entire look of this whole area. It's our smallest creek chub. I'm gonna have to give him a good toss. Yes, safely released back home. Actually, it looks a little clearer up here. Oh, we got a different species. It's a little one, but that's a tiny little green sunfish. Little fun size green sunfish. Species 2. Now I'm gonna try the Donkey Tail Jr. and Chartreuse. It's tough to do because I love the action on this lure, but because I'm getting so many short strikes here, I'm gonna trim it. Okay, still gonna have some action there, but I'm hoping that will mean I'm not getting so many short strikes on this. And again, the reason that's happening is just because it's very skinny water, very small fish. All right, we're gonna try that. See if we can improve our hookup rate here. A couple casts it took, but there's another real small green sunfish. I saw him swipe at it a couple times. I think we hooked up on that one because streamlined our presentation a little bit. You can see it still has a nice action in the water, just by virtue of the plastic itself. This might be our biggest creek chub. What's up, buddy? These guys are like impossible to hold. There he is. Maybe 6 inches or so. Nice little creek chub. Let's move on a little bit here. Whew, up to my knees here. Little tiny green sunfish. If it's not clear yet, this is basically kind of like a nursery creek. This creek attaches to a river that I frequently fish. Routinely have great multi-species outings in there. Catch smallmouth, largemouth, all sorts of stuff. I was just interested to see what would be up this tributary, and so far what we've seen is creek chub and very small green sunfish. I do plan to come back here sometime with a micro setup, because I think we'd potentially catch a lot of like darters, shiners, those types of things. Very, very small fish that would even be much too small to catch on these lures. So what I'm doing today is ultralight fishing, not micro fishing. We'll come back and micro fish this someday. Our hookup ratio has definitely improved by trimming this. More baby green sunfish. Creek trash. Baby sock. Oh yeah, we got lots of creek trash here. We're gonna stop and we're gonna pick some of this up. Baby sock. Bud Light can. See if we can find the date on this Bud Light can. It looks pretty old. I don't see it. Put that in there. Diet Mountain Dew. I'm gonna rinse this before I put it in my backpack. Bottle. Just banking that karma, people. That's actually our biggest green sunfish yet. Not saying a lot. I love fishing small creeks because it's just very peaceful. You're rarely gonna encounter anybody else. But I also think you can learn a lot, because the structure that you see here, and you know, the way that the water moves the bed of the creek around, it's the same thing as what happens in larger rivers. And you can see so much of the structure. I know we had some cloudy water today, but like I said, the last time I was here, it was crystal clear. I was literally sending my son down with the GoPro, you know, spying on where these fish were. And you can just learn a lot about where fish tend to position themselves. Little chub. And those things you learn about what places they position themselves can obviously translate to bigger water, bigger fish. There's also challenges that you come across in these type of small creeks. You have to be, you know, you're not casting long distances, but you got to be somewhat precise in your casting. I think I've become better at casting by virtue of fishing small creeks. Tell you what, I did bring my little aquarium with me. How about the next little creek chub we catch? We stick it in there. Green Sunny. You guys want to see him in the aquarium? It takes them a minute to calm down. Then they're cool. Really cool iridescence on their cheeks and the color on the operculum. Little orange on the fins down here. Thanks for hanging out with us. See if we can do the same, give you guys a tank view of the creek chub. And ladies and gentlemen, we found our creek treasure. We found the trash. We found the treasure. Pair of sunglasses. Right on. Let me see if I can get these guys on the GoPro. Boy, that was a cool view down there. We got a chub, and I'm gonna put it in the tank for you guys, and then we'll be wrapping up here soon, I think. There he is. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Green sunfish. Chub. Thanks for playing, buddy. Ultralight is the best, man. It's so fun. Oh, no! It's a green sunfish. Oh, the baby green sunfish. See, buddy. Guys, kind of summing up on the adventure here today. 2 species, creek chub and green sunfish. Last time I was here, we did catch some pumpkin seed, and I've seen bluegill in here as well, but no sight of them today. I really liked the performance of the Mule plastics. I think that they would be better suited for slightly larger fish. Obviously, I ended up trimming down this Donkey-tailed Junior, and ever since I did that, it's performed well. I mean, I'm still getting bites and not hooking up, but these fish are truly just very, very small. This is bordering on microfishing here. But still, I mean, the basic idea is that I'm tossing these plastics in, and they're just acting as magnets for these fish. I think the buoyancy, the design of the jig head itself, and just the action in the plastic, just the movement of the plastic underwater, is something that, by design, presumably, fish find very, very enticing. So this is the very first time I've ever fished with these Mule Fishing lures. And next time I'll use them in a bigger creek or a river or on a lake and report back on the performance there. But certainly happy with the performance so far here today. All right, guys, I'm out of the creek on the bridge and getting on the trail behind me to head back to the car. This was a fun one. Thank you for coming along, and I'll see you on the next one.